Hey, it's Empress Rose, and welcome to our collective reading. To start us off, I was looking at my scrying ball, and he's disappearing now. He's sort of moving back into the background, but there's been a raccoon here, just looking straight on. So obviously the raccoon has those sort of the masquerade, the mask on it, and that's just really prominent. That was sort of shimmering back and forth with a skull, and both of them were smiling and happy, so that was interesting. And then they were kind of like those stickers, those holographic stickers or whatever that you move and that shimmers back and forth, and that's sort of what was going on here. So but it's all very faded now, and getting smaller and receding. So there's something about like a mask, right? And thinking about sort of calaveras and like the face, and we're all kind of the same underneath. We're all have similar bone structures. Whatever is going on the external is simply that, it's external. So there's something about masking commonality or masking truth, perhaps. But it's receding. Like the mask is going away, and I think some deeper truths are coming forward here. And then also there was a swan and a griffin, and they're talking face to face. So those came very clearly as like actual people or actual characters. So you might be the griffin, mythological, large. The griffin is quite a bit larger than the swan here. And so they're having a conversation, and that seems to be like, it's a peaceful conversation. Two very different people. And maybe that's what is going on with the raccoon too. We have two extremely different energies, but they only perhaps appear very different on the surface. But deep down, a lot more similarities than differences. So kind of an unusual spread here of cards I don't usually use that wanted to be used today. The whole thing is a little bit outside my comfort zone. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, we're gonna grab all four of those. All right. Upheaval, that's what it felt like. I knew it. This deck has this one card I do not like, and I was like, dear deck, why are you asking me to use this? And here it is, Alliance, which is interesting because we had the griffin and the swan sort of creating this alliance here. And so Alliance, and then they all came out in this upheaval idea of just like something being disrupted. But the one thing I love about this is, this is the Tower card in this deck here. So, but we've got our nest eggs are fine. Those are okay. There's a lot of external and apparent upheaval, turnover, but there is safety within that upheaval. There may be a little bit of panic, a little bit of a crisis. The upheaval, the topsy-turviness, I want to say breakthrough. That's not what I'm getting from this card visually, but that's coming through as far as like the breaking through. But these always look like sunflowers to me, even though they're definitely not. It's a tree full of nests. One nest is fine. But there is this upheaval, and obviously the card is called upheaval. This uprooting, this destabilization. And there is some safety within that, even though it could be an event that is a little bit upsetting, not as expected. But what I love about it is it reveals so much. So this may have already happened, but there is so much revealed. What has been under the surface, what has been holding something in stasis, is now clearly seen and you're getting a glimpse through this upheaval of something that you haven't been able to get a glimpse of before, that's been behind the scenes, almost like the mask, the raccoon with the mask, something behind the scenes, and what's underneath it all, what's the core, right? We're getting a glimpse of these roots right here. And we're seeing something really clearly that would normally just be out of view. It's not causing the upheaval, but it's a lucky effect of the upheaval, or an interesting dynamic where you're able to see under the surface of something what's really down there. And it could be subconscious issues, like the upheaval could really have, or will, I mean, we have had upheaval, we will have upheaval in our lives. That is the way of being on this planet, being alive here. So when we do have that upheaval, there is like the silver lining is being able to see something much more clearly, getting a glimpse of something behind the surface. And then we have alliance. So working together, but everybody gets something out of it. Like, the reason why this one is weird to me is because it's like there's a secret alliance. Like this one thinks that this one's just acting on its own, when in fact it's also getting food for this one. So it seems like to me, maybe alliances, the upheaval is in the alliances, and maybe that's what's being revealed here, or has been revealed, is who's behind, who is also benefiting from this, who's also in on something. Yeah, that's why I don't see this card as like really just fabulous, because there's a little bit of dishonesty or hidden factors here in this alliance. And the book is like, yeah, this teaming up to get what your needs met. And there's also something of like, but part of that isn't seen. And with this one, with the crow right behind the corner hiding, and not seeing, it's a bait and switchy kind of alliance, or a like, it reminds me of someone who's asking you for money, and then when you go to your purse to get money for it, you know, the poor waif in front of you, a whole gang comes and takes your purse. Like, we're all working together, actually. That's what this reminds me of, and that's why it makes me so uncomfortable. So so these two together, and so this upheaval would be good, in which, because it would be revealing who is in where the alliances are, who's working together, and what's something behind the scenes, because right here we have in this alliance this crow behind the scenes. Like, it's revealing that this isn't just for this. I want to interpret it well, but it always makes me uncomfortable. I always have this idea that I should just remove it from the deck and then I never have to deal with it. But then we never know, you know, it's an important thing. And even though I feel uncomfortable with it, it could be an important message at some point that shouldn't be ignored. So that it can be, and its intention is to be a good message. I just never quite see it that way, because there's the hidden alliance. And then we have abundance. So, but this is also happening here. There is an abundance, right? And she's doling out food to this kitten, but we know she's got a giant 16-pound bag back there. So abundance is coming in here, and there's just so much. There's so much opportunity. There's so much available. There's a lot. You will not be able to take advantage of every single piece. There's just not time and room to take advantage of everything that's coming, everything that's here. There's just so much of something. It's not too much of a good thing. It's just, you're going to have your pick. You're going to be able to, there is some sort of abundance here, which is interesting, because we have these two sort of, what is going on here cards. But this upheaval may in fact reveal also like a lot of opportunities, needing to be selective about what opportunities you take. And this also can be a reminder that in one situation, if there is upheaval, there's a lot of other fish in the sea. They're not in the sea though; they're on the shore, ready to be plucked, I guess. But there's a lot of resources, and there seems to be like an institutional element to it as well, like because of it's like created by, is it? This is a byproduct of work, other people's work. And maybe that ties into the alliance too. And then freedom. All right. Well, this abundance brings freedom. That's financial freedom, a lot of different types of freedom, but this freedom it's a reward. It's not being able to break out of routines, being able to have a breakthrough. And that's what I was seeing with the upheaval for some reason, even though there's a breakthrough. These two cards kind of like, oh, this, oh yes, that life be doing that sometimes. And these cards, the freedom and the abundance, like, oh, and look at these. There's some sneakiness here too, which I kind of like too. In the midst of upheaval, sometimes we do need to put on our little sneaky sneakers and be a little bit sneakier in how we get our resources and how we get things. So there could be something about that too within the upheaval. There's been upheaval. Now we have need. We're needing to be resourceful and creative and perhaps join up with others in order to get our needs met. Union, form a union. There's a lot of upheaval here. Unionize. And then we have freedom and abundance. So those are, they're just such interesting opposite energies. But I'm wondering if this alliance, or even like a sneaky alliance or something like that, like helps bring in this abundance. But the abundance honestly looks like it has nothing to do with you. Like you didn't create it. It's just here. It's just, there wasn't a lot of work and effort on your part. It's just here. There's abundance. There's perhaps lots of opportunities, perhaps lots of financial freedom. I don't, there's just this liberation from care and concern. We're no longer worried about the upheaval. We're no longer needing to form alliances. And in fact, this freedom looks like independence, I want to say, and maybe being free from some sort of alliance and from some sort of needing to rely on this other in order to function. So there could be independence and freedom and not needing to work with somebody else, not needing to work with other people on something, but having enough resources or having enough of something so that you can break free and be more independent. So in an unusual turn of messaging that I received this morning, and this funny ways that life brings us these messages, I was told to use this tarot deck, Paulina Tarot, as an oracle deck. So that's what I'm doing. You wanted to come out and then you didn't. So let's see if we can get one more. This one. This one was poking me. I don't know if you could see that. This one was poking me, and it's Ten of Swords, which is a very pokey card. But it came out very clearly reversed, which means that there is a gravity assist in healing. Like the swords are coming out. The difficulty, this is the difficulty is over, and then now this is like the difficulty is over, and now we're removing the difficulty. We're not, it's so that healing can happen. So it's not really like also not a great, lovely process. Like the difficulty being over is one thing. The difficulty being removed is another thing. It's a thorn being taken out of your side. There may have been some difficulty here and it's being removed. Now that's just the beginning of healing, is removing the thorn. Like there's a lot of other stuff. Maybe we need stitches. Maybe we need other things to suture that up and help and assist in the healing process, we may need external help to assist in the healing process. But the thorn is being removed. Some sort of difficulty is being removed from your self. And then we have justice. So I love this with the abundance of freedom and the justice. Some sort of fairness coming in here. Things being rebalanced. This Ten of Swords is like being stabbed in the back, being betrayed, possibly by gossip, possibly, you know, it's not like it's directly to your face. It's like, well, she's got it all through her chest, but oftentimes it's in the back. I'm seeing another card here of like, you don't see the perpetrator, you don't see what's going on. So again, some of this hidden aspects of the what's underneath everything in the upheaval, the hidden alliance. You didn't necessarily see what was happening or what was going on or what was being said behind your back. Justice is, there's some kind of fairness here, and it almost looks like you're free from somebody or from some difficulty. You're being released from that. I don't know in what manner or in what way, but it's like a thorn being removed from your side, free from some kind of difficulty. And this justice is a rebalancing, some kind of fairness. Something polite, something polite coming in here. Karmic balance, thinking about the cause and effect and like how things play out. I feel like this is like a circuitous justice, or it's like a justice that slowly unfolded mysteriously, where things kind of come full circle a little bit, is what it feels like with this justice to me, is that there's something coming full circle or just coming back around. That's not usual to the justice card, but there's something, what is it? I'm seeing, it's one of the Celtic goddesses, like false accusations, a lot of drama and difficulty, and then it turning out years later, the justice comes, or the truth is revealed, or just letting karma or the universe take care of the justice is what I'm seeing here. I'm not really, you know, maybe you are causing some upheaval. This could be whistleblower energy also. Oh, yeah, this could really be for some of you, whistleblower energy. It doesn't negate what I just said, but it's just the upheaval in the alliance. That's what that feels like. And just with the justice too. All right, now we have another deck that I rarely use, the apparition deck. Just one more. It's hard to shuffle these ones with the gilded edges. They just aren't very flexible. Well, also I rarely use it, so. All right, from the bottom of the deck we have the Devil. Contracts, which is interesting with this Justice card on the table. Contracts, agreements, bondage, right? And we have freedom here. So we have the Devil with like imprisoned by desires. Something that you wanted has trapped you. Easy to get into, difficult to get out of. Temptations. Could be addictions, temptations. Things that seemed like they would nurture you. So it could be a contract, right? Like something that seems like it's going to nurture you, and you're like, yeah, I agree to do this for that. I agree to exchange my labor and time for money. I agree to, you know, this is something that I want or need. So that can just be a perception, or that can also be like, actually, I do need to kind of eat. And so you are going to need to make some agreements or do some things in order to be able to eat, right? In our system that we have right now in this short period of history. So past, present. Oh, I have my deck upside down. That's interesting. Past, present, inner landscape. What's the issue? Environment, to-do list, possible outcome. All right. In the recent past, we have Knight of Wands. So this would be a person. Maybe it was you. This one definitely denotes the travel involved. Moving forward, but the Knight of Wands tends to move forward very quickly. It's like someone sits down and it's like, I want to go to Colombia. Doop, 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 doop. Now I have tickets, you know, like a 10-minute process or something. Like they just want something and they do it. They want it. They get it. The King of Wands can be a little impulsive, but it takes big leaps forward. It's someone who has courage to take big leaps forward. This one's coming in as travel. Someone who's committed to traveling, to moving forward. Different modes of transportation. I see a lot of determination here of like, however we need to get there, we're going to get there. Also, with the Knight of Wands, it's just unusual for Knight of Wands to come in with determination, because determination usually is something that shows up over a period of time and challenges. But Knight of Wands is like, here, the determination is more like, however we need to make this happen, we're going to make it happen. Some sort of impulsive behavior or speech usually. But this has like a lot of peace, a lot of forward movement. There may be some, not hesitation. Yes, hesitation. That was ironic how that came out. Like some hesitation in the move forward, which is so interesting. Because the Knight of Wands usually just leaps, but then there's part of it that's like, oh, maybe we should go back and do something else. But most of it's moving forward. Current situation, 10 of Wands. That's interesting. Another 10 here. So 10 of Wands, unloading a burden. This has happened and that has happened. It's usually my don't worry about it card. That's kind of typically how I hear that 10 of Wands, don't worry about it. But this is someone talking to someone and telling them about, it's a confession. It's over. Again, it's a sense of something being over. It's a 10, it's completion. It's something being over. Except there's still some emotional aspect to it. It's like where you let your burden down. So laying down the burden, be that through talking to someone or whatever methods you have, letting go of something that's been really difficult. So somebody said something sort of impulsive, or went someplace impulsively. This has been, there's some sort of difficulty related to what was said. It honestly has like a lot of this motion to it as well, like this upheaval motion. This Knight of Wands might have said something very upsetting. And this 10 of Wands is sort of trying to let it go, but is struggling to let something go. There's something that holds back in letting it go. There are a lot of feelings, there's a lot of passion, and they're talking about it. But again, there's this sense of like, kind of being torn or being like canceling things out. It's all a wash. These tears are putting out the flames. These tears are putting out tears are the release, the final release of emotion, and they're sort of calming things and helping you recover. So that almost seems like a call to crying. I have had at different points in my life a crying yoga practice where part of my meditation isn't necessarily to think about things, but physiologically just get my body to cry. So there are different ways to do that physiologically, working with the somatic systems and stuff like that to be able to get yourself to release pent up emotions. We don't want the emotions will be stored in our muscles, in our body. And we don't really want that. That causes some long-term issues. So we want to be releasing these emotions. And that's what I'm seeing with this 10 of Wands, is this release of emotions that's like somehow reducing inflammation, that's somehow reducing emotional inflammation, like just really being able to let something go. And so you might be working on that. That might not be, that's probably not a process that's like, oh, I'm gonna just let it go. People like say that stuff, just let it go. Like, really? It's a process for me. So there's a process of letting something go, moving on. And it's emotional, and emotionally letting go of something. It's not your responsibility anymore. It's not your job. So the Wheel of Fortune, hopes, fears, inner landscape. I think you're really hoping that life is going to help you out here. A change in luck, a change in fortune. Change. It's interesting. We fear change, but there are some changes we actually really, really want. So this is possibly both, a little bit of both. Fearing a change and wanting a change. Craving the change, but right, because something's just, it's done with. These swords are coming out. You're in some sort of healing, letting go process, or somebody could be calling you up to unburden on you. Which is great if, depending on the relationship that you have with this person. So someone may actually be calling you up and communicating some grief or frustration. And that's part of their healing process. It almost reminds me of like one of the steps in the 12-step programs where you make amends for stuff that you've done because your need for something was so much greater than your respect for other people or your love for other people. So Wheel of Fortune, hopes, fears, changes, just wanting changes. And it kind of feels like a little bit of Jesus take the wheel. Like, can somebody that is not me make these changes? Or can somebody, which isn't a great way to go. I think you want to be more in charge of your changes, but than not in charge, but, and be taking responsibility, but you're kind of maybe hoping like, financial difficulties are healed by winning the lottery or something similar to that, or just something, luck, fortune, something changes in your fortunes here. And then what's the issue here is a King of Wands. Wow, lots of wands. Wow, how did I miss that? Very much about creative and spiritual aspects. This King of Wands is... typically don't like the King of Wands in the reverse, because it's like a cult leader or someone who uses their charisma or their position of power and position of authority to manipulate other people. They're dishonest. There could be very uninspired leadership, dishonest leadership. This 10 of Wands is telling me too, like, what's done is done. There's not, we might as well just move on because it's already done, and commitments were made, contracts were agreed to. We might as well just do the emotional work of moving on, because the situation itself is already, you already signed the papers, you already agreed to do this. So stop worrying about it, and just, there's a sense of having to go with the flow here. Is additional messaging coming in here. So King of Wands, somebody that was in a leadership position, maybe dishonest, maybe manipulative. It may be very obvious to you, especially with this upheaval card, being able to see beneath the surface of something. But despite that, there is still growth here. That's what's interesting to me, is despite the fact that we kind of have a pile of shit here, someone, kind of oppressive, maybe even accidentally, like ground a bit of grinding into the dirt, of just like, maybe not even realizing that's what they were doing, and yet there's growth here anyway. So even this King of Wands in reverse can be lying jerk, but there's still some sort of benefit that's coming out of it. There's still some sort of growth that's coming out of it, in spite of them, not because of them, in spite of the way this person is behaving, or how, the things they said. Or this King of Wands could be this Knight of Wands that like moved something forward that maybe should have been rethought a little bit, moved something forward anyway, and somehow there's still something really beautiful that's coming out of it. And then in your environment, may or may not be aware of it. Wow. Oh my gosh. So there's a lot of wands here. So we're talking about creativity, spirituality. I don't see a Hierophant or anything really talking about official spirituality. The major arcanas are the Devil and the Wheel of Fortune. So hoping for some big changes, some big shifts in something external to you. And the Devil, some sort of contract or agreement. Then we have 4 people here. So there is a group of people, and wands and a lot of people. And it could be this alliance that gets formed. But a lot of people are in this. So in your environment, you have Page of Cups. This could be someone who's new. This has very much a childish vibe to it, obviously, with the Care Bear. But there's possibly a beautiful new relationship coming in here, or is here. It could be a bit of a surprise. It could be, there's just a very loving new person, perhaps a very young person, very appreciative, caring. It's just, there's a Care Bear in your environment, someone who really cares about you, about others, a very compassionate person. They may not be the smartest with their compassion, right? But it's beautiful. There's a peaceful sense here, but there's somebody that really loves you and really cares about you in your environment. It could be this King of Wands, someone who maybe was a little bit weird or a little bit unintentionally, like both the Knight and the King of Wands just seem like going in this direction, but something else happens. There's growth anyway, even though something negative happened, or something, they were very forceful, or very like seeing things through one direction, or only seeing, they were using their power, unfortunately. But this Page of Cups is like somebody really loves you. So it could be this same person, they've just made some missteps, but they really care about you. Manipulative missteps, so don't be stupid about it. Or this is opening up something else where you are coming into contact with people that really care and love you and relate to you, and there's a lot of peace here. There's this, yeah. So this could be a younger person. All right, your to-do list: 4 of Wands, level up. Just level up. Just accepting something, accepting an honor, a solid, very solid foundation. Build on the foundation. There's a foundation here, and you can build on it. Usually, it's our 11 of 11 card, our commitment. We've had this recently. Didn't we just have the commitment card? The 4 of Wands has shown up quite a bit recently, as far as like leveling up. And this could be in your spiritual self, in your understanding of who you are, of what you're capable of what you're capable of dealing. And perhaps that's a silver lining here in this and some of the cloudier stuff I'm seeing here is this this building of a relationship, perhaps even building of yourself into a new phase, into a new aspect. There's promotion aspects here, there's engagement aspects, there's just commitment and growth. So what I'm seeing with Four of Wands is like, keep growing, keep going, keep elevating. I think it came through recently with enlightenment. Keep on with your spiritual growth, and perhaps that's the silver lining with the upheaval and the things in the background, is that there is there's a lot of spiritual growth here for you. There's a new level that might be an internal new level. And I want to say it not reaching or working or forcing the new level, but just allowing this new level of understanding to come into you, just allowing it to arrive. So growth, expansion, and it's a minor arcana. It's the Four of Wands, so it's not the biggest, most explosive leveling up anyone's ever seen. There seems to be some sort of quiet stability that's growing here, a growing stability. Four of Wands can be a party and a get together, and it can be a little more explosive, but I see a growing stability in passion and spirituality, and there's growth here. Even though you may feel stuck and trapped in a situation, I'm reminded of Paul and somebody else in prison, and this, like, you're wanting this earthquake to come and release you from like, this devil can be a prison, and you're wanting some sort of earthquake to come and release you from the prison. But what we're having here instead is spiritual growth or interpersonal growth, creative growth, a new level in a creative venture too. Commitment is always it, but we already have commitment with the devil, but that's a contracted commitment that is very difficult to get out of. And this Four of Wands is coming through as a very gentle gift. And then we have this Knight of Pentacles. So our fourth person here, we have two knights, a king, and a page. So no queens, not really introverted vibes here. So Knight of Pentacles. I love this Knight of Pentacles. There's a plan, a solid plan. This is hitting this next level of commitment, and now there's a solid plan. It's maybe not really verbalized. Like, I love these check marks because I love lists and I love check marks. So we have a direction, we have a goal, it's very concrete, but we're definitely making lists, we're checking it twice, we're going through very methodically. And I love that she's pulling the arrow back. This is a preparatory list. This is not the actual execution of the list. This is the pulling back of the arrow, preparing for something. And it's very organized and it's very concrete. It's not ethereal. So we have a lot of emotional energy, a lot of spiritual, creative energy, and then this Knight of Pentacles is developing the plan, not necessarily moving forward, not necessarily telling everybody about it, but it's almost like a secret plan. Yeah, we would love for the earthquake to come and, break these chains and free us. That would be fabulous. But what we're seeing here is committing to a practical plan, and a plan, though, not full on. You're not launching, you're not announcing. It's a plan. And that's why maybe this Four of Wands is quiet for a reason. It's a quiet plan. It's a quiet growth. feel like the oracle cards and the tarot cards are like loosely connected to each other. All right. And then I have the spirit animal oracle cards. So we're going to end with two, oracle cards. Sandpiper spirit, be playful. That's gorgeous. Yeah, don't forget to be playful. It reminds me of this Page of Cups, perhaps a playful person coming into your life. Definitely be engaging with that high vibe. Playfulness is very high vibe stuff. So being playful, the sandpiper is wearing a little hat and playing in the shore, playing in the shallow water. It doesn't have to be too deep. Yeah, I love that. And then we have a rabbit spirit. Yay! Now is a lucky time. Look at that. And with this abundance and freedom, and maybe this is where you're headed. Maybe that's what the plan is for. But this abundance and freedom now is a lucky time. Also bringing in ideas of leaps, leaping forward. Yeah, and then that's just a little bit of what you want anyway, is some luck to come in here. So leaping forward, and then moth spirit, surrender now. That's fascinating because that's sort of what I was getting with the devil card and some of these other things, is that something's already happened and it can't be changed. It can't be undone. It's already happening. So the sense of letting it happen and letting your desires move you forward too is like the Luna moth here. And I think I got, look, the Luna moth. These are butterflies, but we got a little Luna moth in there. So allowing that to draw you, your desires to draw you, and letting it move forward, letting this river take you, letting your desires and your passions move you forward, and not fighting like a situation that's already happened, or not fighting like a known outcome or destiny. Or surrender now. It's just like, I don't want to say it's waving the white flag, but it's like waving the white flag to yourself. Okay, you win. We're gonna do this. Okay, we're gonna do this. And then one last card here from the feather oracle. Little feather. Letting go of something. Not trying to win something it's unnecessary to win this. Let life do its thing. All right, we didn't want anything. All right, we're gonna, oh, that's right, because I usually do this with this deck. All right, and then I like to keep it a little hidden. There we go. Oh, that's hummingbird. Release what you've been carrying and lighten up. New joy is on the way. This just summarizes. Release what you've been carrying. Lighten up. New joy is on the way. That's beautiful. In summary, hummingbird. Lovely. All right. Talk to you next time. Bye, babes.